Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for our first Dominaria United edition of Budget Magic. So today is early access day. Taking advantage of it to record some videos, I figured better to record on early access day and do new stuff than put up old stuff that doesn't have the new cards. So anyway, we got a super sweet list. This is the budget deck that I'm most hyped for our new standard format, and it just happens to feature a spoiler card, which is an added bonus. This is Izzet Spellslinger, and there's two things I love about the deck. One is, I think this deck has the opportunity to be a legit good budget deck. It's got some powerful cards. I mean, you got Electrostatic Infantry, gets big as you cast spells. Balmor makes everything big as you cast spells. You got decent one drops. Phoenix Chick, Delver can both be evasive to take advantage of all the pumping from Balmor, and then you just sling a bunch of spells. You get Lightning Strike and Play with Fire for burn. You get Considers and Ancestral Angers for card draw, Fading Hope for removal. Twinferno, kinda cute. I'm interested in this card. I don't know how good Twinferno is, but I like its flexibility. 2-mana instant speed double strike can close out the game with Infantry or with Balmor, or even with one of our lesser threats if we can cast some pump spells like Ancestral Anger, and copying our spells can be pretty decent. We can like double removal, double consider to draw cards. So that's kind of the core of the deck. So that's one reason I'm hyped about it, is I think this deck might be like a legit competitive deck that's super cheap. Speaking of being super cheap, that's the second reason I'm hyped for this deck. This deck, outside of these dual lands in the mana base, which the deck would get a lot worse. You could replace these with Evolving Wilds and a tap dual land, but considering our curve is so low, and we really want to curve out and use all of our mana every turn, it would really downgrade the deck. But outside of these two rare dual lands, there are 0 rares, 0 mythics in the entire 75. So this is about as cheap as a deck can get. And if you want to go full on 0 rares and mythics, you can replace the lands. I'll warn you, either you play all basics and your lands are untapped, but you're going to have some consistency issues, or you play tap lands, which is going to make the mana more consistent, but it's going to slow the deck down. And this deck really wants to win early. Like, that's the goal of the deck, is to kill the opponent quickly before they get a chance to get to their late game, cast huge things that can just overwhelm the stuff on our board. So that's the deck for today. Izzet Spellslinger. Sideboard, bunch of counters, bunch of removal, bunch of protection, basically just trying to customize the deck against control. We can bring in counters to keep our stuff alive and close out the game. Against creature decks, we got a bunch of removal options to deal with our opponent's threats, to buy us a little bit of time, and every single thing is a spell. So everything is growing Electrostatic Infantry, everything is triggering Balmor, everything is helping us flip our Delver of Secrets. So that's the plan for today, slinging some spells with Balmor in New Standard. A quick reminder before we jump into the games, if you need to pick up this deck in paper, and it's also super cheap in paper, $86 in paper, although 52 of those dollars, actually like 60 of those dollars, are these two dual lands. So if you already have the dual lands, this deck's like 20 bucks or something, like ridiculously cheap. But if you need to pick up this deck in paper, you can snag it from our awesome sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish if you get a free goldfish sticker. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's check out some new standard budget style with Izzet Balmor. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit with the wrap up. Budget magic time. We are playing new standard this week with some Balmor, ooh, double Balmor. Some Izzet Spellslinger, some Balmor Spellslinger with, well, I guess technically 8 rares because of the mana base, but ugh, this might be bad. Well, okay, Delver, that's a creature. Play the land, pass the turn. Well, opponent's off to a fast start here on the play, which is less than ideal. Opponent, shakedown heavy. Delver flips. Hit you with the Delver. I guess we play the Balmor and just hope. Balmor can technically block the skeleton. Yeah, opponent's gonna get to draw here, unfortunately, with shakedown heavy, and then kill that. Down to 12. The question's gonna be, does our opponent have removal, I think. Ooh, another shakedown heavy. Okay, and another skeleton. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, Ancestral Anger Balmor. Play with fire our opponent. Keep the land. Hit ya. Down to 6. Over 1 point of damage short. We need one of our creatures to get in. One of them. And we can burn our opponent out. Yeah, you're gonna get to draw a ton of cards. All right, we need one creature to live, and we got it. Come on, Not double removal. Single removal's fine. We have 5 points of burn. That means we need 1 point of creature damage. And opponent doesn't have it. Doesn't have it. Okay, that was impressive. That was, opponent curved out too. That was Cult Conscript, Tainted Adversary, Shakedown heavy. We were on the draw. We had 2 lands. They both came into play tapped. We had Balmor for 1 turn and we won. Well, yeah, that was good. That was very good. Doing some more Balmoring and double Twinferno. I mean, I think this is okay. We really need this infantry to live, I think. Twinferno can be very good, but it's a card we're playing 3 Twinfernos because we really want 1 of them, but we don't necessarily want a handful of them. Well, yeah, let's run out the infantry. Please don't kill it. Ugh, yeah, that's bad news. Now we have 0 threats. Suspicious Stowaway. Oh, there's Phoenix Chick. All right, Phoenix Chick. Fading Hope. Bounce that. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll keep that. And I guess we just Ancestral Anger the Chick. Get in for 2. Well, now we might Twinferno the Ancestral Anger. Well, it passes. We could get so blown out. Let's just kill the Stowaway. If our opponent taps down, we'll try to Twinferno. Get in for 1. I'm afraid if we Twinferno Ancestral Anger and our opponent just kills the chick in response, we get like 1,000,000 for 1. Well, let's play with fire opponent's face. See if we can draw not a land. We don't really want that. Oh my god, another Twinferno. All right, hit you for 1. Opponent, Urtai the Resurrected, okay. Are they killing the Phoenix Chick? Well, I guess that's kind of okay. We get to draw a card. Play the infantry. Pass the turn. Oh, we really need a creature to live. We need to draw some cards here somehow. Yeah, this is a awkward draw with drawing every Twinferno. Old Rustine. Well, there's a land. Well, Twinferno, we gotta go for it. Twinferno. Copy our next spell. Ancestral Anger, please, no removal. We need these cards desperately. Okay, hold. Yep. Oh, yeah, that is game, I think. Yeah, we had to go for it there because our draw's been so awkward, but we got super blown out. Urborg Lurgoyf, gonna be massive. Now play the infantry. Yeah, I think that does it. We just had a very, very, very awkward draw. Our card draw was dependent on keeping a creature on the battlefield, and our opponents got a lot of removals. I don't think there's any way we can win. We are gonna need some sort of miracle here. We're down to 3. It starts with probably card draw of some kind. Vilespawn Spider. Mountain Death. Well, I'm kind of glad that happened because we get to see the downside of Twinferno, where Twinferno is very explosive and it does have some flexibility thanks to its spell copying mode. At the same time, when it's bad, it is the worst card in our deck by a pretty huge margin. So I'm glad we got to see the bad side of playing Twinferno as well. Not all upside. Like when it works, it looks absurd, but when it doesn't work, that happens and you just kind of lose. I don't know what the right number is. Well, all right, we got a Balmor, which is something. Another hand with only 1 threat, though, which is awkward. If our Balmor dies, that would be sad. Plays a land. Well, land and Balmor. Go. I mean, we do have a handful of burn. Simic, eh? Ooh, there's a Phoenix Chick. Well, play the land, play the Phoenix Chick. Go to combat, attack. And I think we just lightning strike your face. Might as well get in some damages. Balmor just offers so much damage. So opponent's dropping to 13. And if nothing goes wrong, we might be like a land. Well, okay, opponent's gonna gain 3. I was gonna say we might be a land away from winning, but now I think our opponent, yeah, that life gain's gonna keep them from dying this turn. Fight rigging. Okay, that could be a problem in the future. We could leave up the Fading Hope. We draw more lands. So if we Twin Inferno, double Lightning Strike, opponent goes to 10, down to 4, but then they potentially go off with Fight Rigging. Lightning Strike, double strike doesn't help. Yeah, let's just, I think we just attack for this turn. Hit our opponent to 14. 6 plus 6. We're close. We're close to just one-shotting. All right, Cemetery Tampering. So opponent's got all the all the support cards, but no payoffs. Opponent passes. Ugh, even more lands. No, play the land. All right, we're gonna go for it this time. Copy. So we don't quite win here, but we Twin Inferno, double Lightning Strike. If we could cast this Fading Hope, we'd win. If it was return up to 1 target creatures, we would just have lethal, but instead, opponent gonna go to 2. Hilariously, we needed our opponent to play a creature there. If our opponent played a creature, we would have had lethal. Opponent mills some cards and land. Defiler of Vigor. Okay, this is fine. So opponent plays Defiler. We bounce Defiler and then attack for lethal. Oh, okay. Well, that was good. That was good. This deck is very good at punishing opponents who have a slow draw. I would not be surprised if we had a competitive Izzet deck in Standard. We'll see how it shakes out, but Balmor is like such a great payoff for decks like this. I think it's definitely possible that we have an actual competitive, like this deck, there's 0 rares outside of the mana base. In the mana base, it's 8 rares. I don't think you can really play without the 8 rares in the mana base, unfortunately. It would be sweet if we could have like ooh, this has a lot of action. It would be sweet if we could have like a literal 0 rare deck. And I mean, I guess you could play this with like an all basic mana base or something, although I think it would really hurt the overall power of the deck. All right, aggro versus aggro. Wow, so many chicks. Phoenix Chick, play the land, hit you for 2. Well, Chicktron. How good is Chicktron? Opponent, Mountain. Electrostatic Infantry. Well, play the Mountain. Phoenix Chick number 3. Yeah, I guess we gotta kill that. Lightning Strike the Infantry. Chick ya. Down to 14. Unfortunately, we don't have anything to copy with this Twin Inferno at the moment. Also, unfortunately, this Etchings can exile our chicks, which is awkward. For example, Cami Flare. Opponent gets and hits us. Well, play Delver. Hits you down to 12. Oh, the race is on. Opponent, Saga triggers, plays a Mountain, Thermo Alchemist. Gets a counter, not that good. Flipping the Delver would be sweet. I guess hitting a land is also not the end of the world. Opponent hits us for 2. Well, Delver, not flipping. Apply the land, go to combat, hit you for 2. Oh, down to 10. Oh, we're so close. We are so close. We have 6 points of burn. Opponent, land, combat, hits us. Pings us. Twin Inferno to untap. So we're taking 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think we let it go. I think we want to try to set up lethal here. So we drop to 7, kind of 6. Opponent passes. Delver. Come on, Delver. Oh my god. Delver's been bad. Delver's been real bad. Well, play the land. Hit you with the chicks. Oh, opponent goes to 8. We get pinged down to 6. Opponent untaps. Oh, this Delver is fizzling. Opponent goes attacking. Okay, block with Delver. So we go to 4, 3. This puts us dead to... So we drop to 4. Ping. Puts us dead to literally any burn spell. All right, so we will Twin Inferno. And then Lightning Strike. Kill them both. Oh, we really wanted to try to have lethal with that, but we got to do it. So we drop to 5, opponent taps. Drop to 4. Delver, come on. Oh my goodness, the worst Delvers ever. Literally the worst. All right, well, hit you for 3. So many lands in a row at the worst possible time. About it. Well, considering we drew 0 card draw, yeah, that's lethal because of the counter on this Thermal Alchemist of all things. Oh, well, that was disappointing because we just kind of fizzled there. Did not hit any card draw spells, and our opponent was just aggro enough to be able to survive. Delver's so depressing, that card. You know, if our opponent had it, it would have flipped on probably the first turn. But since we had it, Delver just refused. We're a 21 land deck. Pretty unfortunate to have quadruple 4 lands in a row. After we had a good start. We had a 2 land starting hand and things were looking good. And then it was just Delver reveal land, Delver reveal land. If that Delver had flipped, I think we would have won, right? If it flipped in a timely manner, or even in a not timely manner. Like if we just hit anything there that was not 4 lands in a row, I think we win super easy. Well, hopefully we hit less lands. All right, this hand's pretty good. Phoenix Chick into infantry. Got a cantrip. Got some removals. Oh, and a Balmor, golly. Well, let's play infantry. Get in for 1. Opponent down to 18. Lanes for our opponent. Guard of New Benalia. That is acceptable. Can we draw land? No, but we can play a Balmor. And hopefully set up for a pretty good turn next turn. Hit you with the chick. All right, opponent, let's see that removal. Brutal Cathar doesn't do it either, because we can just kill or bounce the Brutal Cathar. That would actually be great for us if our opponent played Brutal Cathar. Welcoming Vampire. That's also fine. Opponent. Oh, not a land. All right, so let's consider get some triggers. Keep the land. Play the land, Fading Hope, the Welcoming Vampire. Get some triggers. Scry the land to the bottom. Play with Fire Opponent's Face. Get some more triggers. Not bad for having 3 lands. More lands to the bottom. And then hit you for a little bit. Wow, that's a good turn 3. That's a good turn 3. That's a dead opponent on turn 3 in standard. 3 lands, a Balmor, and a couple of dorks, and GG. That was pretty good. That was one of our best ones yet. When the deck goes off, wow, is it scary. Could this be the best aggro deck in our new standard? Maybe. I mean, I feel like we've really seen the good and the bad of this deck. When it's good, it's so good. When it's bad, it's a little clunky. They kill your threats and you just get kind of sad. All right, a little bit land heavy. I do like the infantry, but I am a little scared of 4 lands and no card draw. Although infantry Twin Inferno can do some work. Consider's pretty good. Well, run out the infantry. One of the interesting things about this standard is it's very hard to cheat on your lands. Storm Chaser Drake. Do we just gotta kill this Drake? Probably. Play the land. I kind of want a Twin Inferno Consider, but well, let's see what our opponent does. Go to combat attack. Kill the Drake. Yeah, I don't think we can let that actually live. And then, yeah, let's consider. We should be able to find something, right? Well, we'll keep Fading Hope, I guess. Opponent down to 17. Opponent's playing mono blue, eh? Storm Chaser Drake and passes. Well, play the land, go to combat, attack ya. We can't win this turn, right? Not quite. We can cast 1, 2, 3 spells. 6 power, yeah, double strike. Well, let's Fading Hope the Drake. All right, opponent's gonna phase it. Oh, they're gonna phase our thing out too. Okay. I mean, we can't really do anything about that, so I guess that is gonna happen. Opponent untaps with the Drake. Restoration of Jano. Huh. It's a weird one to play in your Storm Chaser Drake. I guess reanimating a Storm Chaser Drake is something, sort of. All right. Fading Hope the Storm Chaser Drake. I don't think we want infantry. We want spells. Specifically spells that draw us cards. All right. Untap. Well, play Balmor. Play the Shivan Reef. Hit you for 4. or 3 past the turn. We're like a spell away. So opponent can get back their Storm Chaser, although it is tapped. And we're like a spell away from lethal. Another restoration, sure. If this is restoration into Storm Chaser, I think literally any spell in our deck will let us kill our opponent here. Come on, deck. Ugh, that's not any spell. Go attacking. Opponent goes to 10. Oh, I think we might be in trouble though, because now these Storm Chasers are gonna be able to go off. Opponent discards a land, they can get back the Curiosity. They get a creature. Yeah, that was our turn to actually draw a non-land, but ugh. Our deck did not want to do that. Opponent. Yeah, now it's gonna be tricky to win, I think. Opponent passes. Phoenix Chick. Well, play the Phoenix Chick. Go to combat, attack with everything. Opponent's gonna phase out a bunch of stuff, yeah, and they get to draw a ton of cards. Ugh, come on, deck. We have drawn so many lands. So one thing that's interesting about this standard is that flooding is back on the menu. It was very, very difficult to flood, yes, this game. It was very difficult to flood in the last standard because you could play very few real lands and then just be like, oh, I'm gonna play a bunch of Spikefield Hazards. I'm gonna play a bunch of MDFCs. So it was almost impossible to actually flood out. We have returned to a standard where flooding is not only possible, but very likely. Because lands offer 0 value now. Lands are just lands. That is all they do. Yes, this game. Opponent hits us. Even if we draw our best card, I don't think there's any way we win. Opponent's drawn. We had that turn. We had the turn to win the game, but our deck failed. Infantry, that's not gonna do it. Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. We are not in a world anymore where you can just be like, I'm gonna play 30 lands and never flood out and never get mana screwed. It's not how standard works anymore. So I'm playing 21 lands in this deck, and I'm almost wondering if 21's too many. Like, maybe we should be playing 20 or 19, maybe 18. Like, you can't cheat anymore. There's no cheating. There's no creature lands. There's no MDFCs. Very, very hard. Outside of the channel lands, that if you are not playing a budget deck, you should probably play 1 copy of any channel land that's in your colors pretty much every single time. But outside of like playing 1 of each channel land, no value to really get out of your mana base anymore. So that's a huge shift, because last standard, I would say the value you could get out of your mana base was maybe the defining characteristic of last standard. Like that was like the biggest thing you could do, and almost every deck was taking advantage of it. Ugh. I mean, this hand's gonna require us to draw a land. Well, that's a land. Also, Double Twin Inferno is still a little awkward. Opponent, Schwamp. Tenacious Underdy. Well, that's another land. Play the Infantry. Not much point in killing the Tenacious Underdog. It just comes back anyway. Not yet, at least. Opponent. Graveyard Trespasser. Gets and hits us. So many Shivan Reefs. Now what? Yeah, I mean, this is a bummer, but Lightning Strike. I think we got a Lightning Strike, discard to Inferno. Get rid of the Trespasser. Hit you for 2. Opponent. Schwamp. Weatherlight completed. Interesting. And Infernal Grasp. How are they going to turn on Weatherlight completed, though? That's the real question. Well, Balmor. Ouch. These Shivan Reefs are adding up. We have taken a lot of damage from our mana base. Opponent. Land. Tainted Adversary. Gets and hits us. Well, play Phoenix Chick. Oh my god, this damage. Down to 6. We can't get in for lethal, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess we gotta pass and try to play defense and stay alive. Evolve Sleeper. Opponent goes to combat, attacks with everything. Well, alright. 1, 2. Actually, 1, 2. Twin Inferno, spell copy mode. Get some triggers. And then consider. Get some triggers. We'll keep Ancestral Anger. We're wasting so much damage doing this during our opponent's turn. We'll keep consider. All right, so the zombies are decaying. Block here. Block here. Oh, Phoenix Chick can't block. Oh, Phoenix Chick. So bad. Well, so we have to block and block? And then we don't have red mana? Yeah, so we are dead. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. One thing about early access day is play draw is super huge. Super huge. Like in that game, our opponent got to go first, and it's such a huge advantage. I wonder if there's any way Wizards can fix that in the 2022 era. I don't know how you fix it, but that is one of the most awkward parts, I think, of how most people play Arena, which is best of one, is that like a huge part of who wins comes down to a literal coin flip. And I don't know, I mean, maybe that's a positive because it allows bad players to be good players. So maybe that's how Wizards looks at it, is like, oh, this is great. This is great for our game because this allows less skilled players to keep up with the more skilled players because, you know, 20% or whatever of the game is actually just a coin flip. But from a perspective of a longtime player, it can be frustrating for sure. Well, all right, tap lane, go. So this hand's pretty good, except we only have one threat. So if our infantry just dies, which against a Esper deck seems very possible, we're kind of in a tough spot. Braids. No sacrifice. We'll play a mountain. Do we just want to bounce the braids? Yeah, let's just bounce braids. Get a trigger. Oh, that's so... I think we need a creature here. Scry it to the bottom. Hit ya. You know what? Let's get in some damage. This also grows our infantry big enough that it doesn't die to that 1 mana spell, which is big. Opponent, land. Edgar. Well, there's a Shivan Reef. Let's consider. Do we want Phoenix Chick? It is damage. Yeah, I think we go bottom. Go to combat, attack. See if our opponent blocks. Wait, lethal? I think this is lethal, isn't it? Play with fire. Down to 12. Twinferno, double strike mode. Instant speed double strike. Well, got him. This is a game where Twinferno looks insane. Woo! Yeah, that is what Twinferno can do when it's good. I really, boy, we've seen the games where we draw 3 Twinfernos be pretty awkward. Like, those games are not great for Twinferno, but it is a really powerful card. The flexibility of doing that, just being a 2 mana instant speed, kill you, kind of a Teamer Battle Rage almost, but being like a pseudo Teamer Battle Rage that also can be like, oh, let's double our Consider or whatever, double a burn spell at our opponent's face, is actually really powerful. Surprisingly powerful. So if we're going to play a non-budget version of this deck, so the idea was this to be as close to 0 rares as possible. Obviously, we have the 8 lands in the mana base, which I think is kind of unavoidable. But let's say we're going to play a non-budget version. What would that look like? I think it would be very similar. Jaya, I think, is in the conversation, although I'm honestly not sure if Jaya is fast enough for what this deck's trying to do. No red mana. Are we mulliganing? I mean, we do got Delver on one, and we are in the draw. Yeah, no, this is probably fine. So of all those hands that I feel like I'm gonna regret keeping. But if this Delver flips and we draw a red source, look out, Simic. I guess Fading Hope's not the worst, because we can potentially get a scry out of it to find red mana. If our opponent plays a creature, we might just do it on our upkeep. All right, Delver. All right, not a spell, but a land is kind of okay. Also gonna be tapped anyway. The upside is we might want another red source next turn. Yeah, let's do it that way. Play the land, get in, hit you. Boom. 18. What do you say to that, opponent? What do you say to that? I don't know about Delver. I think Delver is like, I view Delver as a necessary evil in this deck. I don't think Delver is actually, wow, no kicker. I view Delver as a necessary evil. There's not another decent 1-drop. I think it's Delver and Phoenix Chick, and then not a ton that really works with the plan of the deck. So I think Delver is just like a necessary evil. Could maybe try, Balmor. Could maybe try the Saga, although the Saga is not especially synergistic. Oh, yeah, we don't really want that happening. Pick it up, pick it up. Twinferno definitely going to the bottom here. Delver, all right, not a flip. But that is a red source, so we get to play the infantry, play the Phoenix Chick, hit you for 2. Plaza, Balmor. This deck is wild. Can we flip a Delver? No. All right, well, play the land. Twinferno. Oh, I guess it's risky, isn't it? Are we passing? Maybe we should have kept the other Twinferno just to flip the Delver. Opponent considers. Plaza of Harmony, or Plaza of Heroes, interesting. I would not have thought to play Plaza of Heroes in this deck, although with Balmor, it's actually a dual land. Opponent, but opponent's deck is weird. Like, they're trying to play the Curiosity, which is interesting. Balmor is not prowess. It only triggers on instants and sorceries. Opponent passes. Delver. Sweet Jesus. This again. Every land in a row. The problem is we would like to like double Ancestral Anger. The problem is if our opponent has a bounce spell, which seems very probable, then we get to do nothing and we're empty-handed. Delver just revealing land in a land is so sad. It's the worst feeling. We've had a couple games like that where Delver is just like, oh, hey, how about another dual land? Ah, Delver. Wow, getting frisky, sure. You gonna 19 Balmor? Let's see it. Let's see this flurry of spells to deal 19 damage. Okay, wow, they're actually going for it. Sure, shore up, 3 power. Okay, they're just getting in some incidental damage, apparently. We could use, like, a Consider. Consider would be sweet. Or our opponent tapping out or running out of cards. Opponent passes. Delver. If this is a land Delver, I swear, you're getting cut. Oh, my goodness. Not a land, but not a helpful card. Phoenix Chick. Number 2. Play the land. We have so many cards that are doing nothing. The fizzles. The fizzles. Oh, God, Ivy. All right, that's spicy and bad for us, I'm sure. Passes. Delver. Finally flips with a Play with Fire. All right. We got to do things. So, Play with Fire Ivy. Opponent negates, pumps their dorks. Okay. Twinferno, copy mode. Opponent has another negate. Ancestral Anger. Opponent's stealing our spells with this Ivy, which is kind of obnoxious. Into more dead lands. Well, go attacking. Blocks. Blocks. Drops to 3. This puts us like 1 spell away from potentially winning. We got through the Ivy, although it did do some work for our opponent. We're a creature short from getting back the Phoenix Chick. Opponent attacks. Shore up again. It's us down to 12. We take a Lightning Strike. That would be acceptable. Haunty Shin. We'll take a Play with Fire now. That would also be acceptable. Fading Hope. Yeah, Fading Hope the Jin. Opponent phases it out. This means we can't attack. Yeah, all right. Opponent untaps. Oh, we could have attacked, couldn't we? Wait, why was that 13 power? I'm so confused. Is that a... Oh, what a top deck! What a top deck! Opponent top deck's the flyer that draws 2. Wow! That is a amazing top deck for our opponent. Come on, deck. Any burn spell. Opponent gets in. All right, we're gonna take it. Fading Hope, Play with Fire, Lightning Strike. Any of those should be lethal here. And it's a land. That is the worst. Oh, Magic Gods. What a fizzle. Goes to combat attacks with everything. Well, dead to any spell. Do you have any spell? Down to 1. Do you have any spell? Ivy. Go to combat, attack. Can we resolve Lightning Strike? Is this last card another negate? They've already spent 2. Gonna save the Ivy? Okay, that's what we wanted. Got him. Oh, we got him. They can't tap the land. It's a pain land. It's a pain land. So they can't tap it or they die. Oh, got him. It was a negate too. The greed! The greed! Why? Why would you possibly save the Ivy there? We're so incredibly dead. All you gotta do is leave up your negate, and there's very little way that you can lose that game. I mean, at least that's your best chance. I guess we could have multiple burn spells, but really, we're like, you don't, what is Ivy gonna do here? Like, we're super dead to everything else on the battlefield. Like, the Ivy is doing literally nothing. Wow, did we get bailed out of that one? Well, we will take it. Sometimes people just want to protect their cool card, I guess. I can't believe we got back into that. Well, sweet. So what do we learn this week about Izzet Balmor in our new Dominaria United Standard format? And overall, we went 5-4 with the deck, which that's a pretty good record considering this is about as cheap as a deck can get. So a winning record, that's what you're looking for. Like if you're playing a budget deck, you want a budget deck that wins more than it loses so you can rank up and qualify for things or do whatever, you know, win your F&M in paper. And I think this is a budget deck that can do it. I think overall the deck felt really solid. You did see, and I mentioned this during the games, we've had a huge shift in mana bases going into our new standard. Last standard, it was really easy to cheat on lands. You can see we got 21 lands altogether in the deck, and I'm still not sure if that's the right number. Last standard, it was super easy to play, like, in this deck, maybe 16 real lands, maybe 14 real lands, and fill in the rest of those slots with Spike Field Hazards, Jwari Disruptions, MDFCs, for example. You could play some creature lands to get more value out of your mana base. All that is gone. In this standard, lands are pretty much just lands, and that's going to have a big impact on deck building. So the easiest way that we lost with this deck, the primary way, was just by flooding out. You saw a couple of games where we like stuck a Delver and then it revealed lands for like 5 turns in a row and we just didn't get the velocity to actually do anything. So those games happen on occasion, but the games when we don't flood out, the deck feels really powerful. We also got to see just how strong this deck can be, where you play a Balmor, you play a 1-drop, you untap, you cast some spells, and people just die on like turn 3, turn 4. Twinferno, a little bit high variance. We got to see it be pretty bad. We had the game where we do 3 Twinfernos and we kind of just lost because of it. But then we also had games where Twinferno just lets us close out the game in one shot by surprise. We attack with like a 4-power electrostatic infantry, and next thing you know, we throw a burn spell at your opponent's face, and then we Twinferno our electrostatic infantry, and our opponent takes like 14 damage and just dies out of the blue, unsuspecting. So we got to see that as well. So I think this deck is definitely very sweet. And one of the other things I like about this deck is if you decide to go non-budget, there's really not a ton of changes to make. Like, yeah, you could play some Jayas. I would probably play Jaya in the sideboard. I don't know if it's worth it in the main deck or not. 4 mana is like kind of a lot in the main deck, but Jaya would be another good spell against control that you bring in those matchups where your opponent's going to be able to kill all your creatures, because that is one of the other ways we can lose. If our opponent can just kill all of our Balmors and electrostatic infantries and just leave us with a bunch of, you know, kind of spells that aren't doing all that much, that is a pathway for our opponents to find the victory. But Jaya would be really good against control decks. Otherwise, there really wasn't much that I cut from this deck for budget purposes. So really, even in its optimal form, the best possible form, you're still looking at a deck that's going to be way under 15 rares and mythics, even if you added a whole play set of Jayas in the sideboard or whatever. So I like this deck a lot. If you like being aggressive, if you like slinging spells, I think we got a new competitive budget deck in our standard format. So that's Izzet Balmor. That's been our budget magic for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back to normal next week. I know we're playing best of 1 today because that's all they have for early access, but next week we'll be back to best of 3 doing what we normally do. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.